Okay guys, I don't have one of my strops handy, so I've got my knife ship-free dual-sided strop here, and quickly just going to go over some of the basics of stropping again in a really quick summary with my new knife. The main thing when you're stropping is that you should already have a reasonably refined sharp edge, and the blade is dulled from either cutting or slicing or just lying around too long, and micro-oxidation on the edges dulled it. So the stropping is really, the design is to just polish that very, very last portion of the blade, the micro edge, and to take off any tiny burrs and oxidation and things and just refine it so it goes sharp again. Now, any blade where you've got like this one, where it's a drop point, where it curves up, means that it's at a different angle. If you lift this blade so that that's flat, the higher you lift it, you can see the tip doesn't actually touch the strop or the sharpening device. So when you're stropping, you can't keep the same angle. If you touch the tip and you slide it along like that and keep the same angle the whole way, that's not actually what you're doing. You're going to end up with a much, much lower angle at the bottom than you do at the top. If you want a, say, a 15-degree angle, as you're raising to the heel, you have to change the entire height of your hand. So you can see that's how far my hand is from the strop when I'm doing that portion, but on the heel it's much, much higher. So when you're doing your tip to heel stropping, if you can see this properly I hope, when you're laying it flat, get the 20-degree angle on the tip is much higher. It feels higher than it would be if it was down here. So you're starting up there, and as you go through that curve, you're lowering it down to try and maintain the same angle all the way through. The best way to do this is to just do it really, really slowly and watch. Don't watch the spine here. Watch the spine angle opposite what's contacting. So when I'm down there, I want that to be 15 degrees. As I move to this portion, that should be 15. And as we get to here, that's 15. And after a while, you just get practiced at moving and sweeping your hand. Now, you've basically got a center point here of where the drop point starts, and that's your pivot. And as you're moving through the sweep, you've got to change your angle around that pivot. And just keep the contact very, very light and at the right angle. Now again, to find your angle, if you use a piece of wood or something or leather, you can see that slides because I'm not touching. As I lift the blade up, it gets to the point there where it wants to dig and it wants to scrape the wood. That angle there is where your edge is. So if you take that angle to the strop, that's what you want to be stropping, because that angle where it digs in is the actual blade. Anything else is just either the blade's not contacting, or you're just basically polishing the side of the knife. So if it's too low, you're polishing this. If it's too high, instead of sharpening the edge, you're rounding it off. You're basically curving it off like that. No different than if you do that. If you do that and grind on sandpaper, you're not going to get a sharp knife, you're just going to grind that flat. A strop's the same. If you go to that point where it sticks, if you go any higher at all, you're making it blunt. So you need to learn how to get to that point and then keep that angle right through. And some people go 1, 1, 1, 1. I can't be bothered. It doesn't seem to help a lot. I do a few on each side. Very, very lightly. And after a while, when you own a particular knife for a while and you're using that knife every day, you're instinctively going to learn where that knife blade is and where that angle is. So you can see I'm quite high off the strop, and as I sweep it lowers to keep that angle the same. And then we go to the green. The only difference between the black and the green is the polishing refinement level. Green is finer, so it gets it slightly sharper. Now the secret with stropping is, it's no different than sandpaper. If your blade is too dull for the fineness of this will never make it sharper. So if you're not finding it's working, you might need to go dull. And so at the end of the day, when you're finished, you should have a nice sharp knife. Okie dokie. So that's basically the techniques of stropping. the most important factor, and even when you're regrinding a blade, if you're doing a V-bevel or anything, you need to resharpen the whole blade. If you don't change that sweep angle, what you'll find is if you get a marker and paint your edge black with a felt tip pen, if you don't change your angle properly, you're going to find that in this area you're going to wear away a lot more steel. It's going to have a finer angle, and you see on a lot of people's knives, so they're not experienced, that polished line will be thin around here and get fatter, fatter, fatter because they haven't changed the angle. So they're actually grinding a different angle at the tip. And just watching about 5 minutes on a strop is fine. 5-minute video. It's just practice. It is just practice. You're not taking a lot of metal off though, so don't worry about ruining the knife. And the goal is to get a nice sharp knife. And this new full tang hiker I've got is just absolutely beautiful. It is incredibly comfortable in my hand. So, onto my neck it's going for user testing. It's very, very nice. Very happy. Alright, that's enough videos for today. Thanks guys.